Day 22 Word of God Exodus chapter 20 verse 24. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and you shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I record my name I will come to you, and I will bless you. Exodus chapter 20 verse 24 is part of the instructions given by God to Moses at Mount Sinai, commonly known as the Ten Commandments. Following the delivery of the moral and ethical laws, God instructs the Israelites on how to construct altars for worship and sacrifices. This verse emphasizes the importance of worshiping God and making offerings in accordance with His instructions. At Mount Sinai, God established His covenant with Israel, outlining the terms of their relationship and the ways they were to worship Him. The construction of altars and the offering of sacrifices were central to Israel's worship practices, serving as acts of obedience and expressions of devotion to God. An altar of earth you shall make for me signifies the simplicity and accessibility of worshiping God. Altars made of earth were humble and readily available, reflecting the idea that worship does not require elaborate structures but a sincere heart devoted to God. You shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen, outlines the types of offerings prescribed by God for various purposes. Burnt offerings to atone for sin and peace offerings to express gratitude and fellowship with God. In every place where I record my name I will come to you, and I will bless you. Assures the Israelites of God's presence and favor wherever they worship Him according to His commandments. This promise underscores God's desire to bless His people abundantly when they honor Him with faithful worship and obedience. Throughout the Old Testament, altars were significant places of worship and encounter with God. Abraham built altars to worship God and commemorate His promises. Genesis chapter 12 verse 7-8, Genesis chapter 22 verse 9-14. Elijah repaired the altar of the Lord and witnessed God's miraculous fire on Mount Carmel. 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 30-39. In the New Testament, Jesus Christ became the ultimate sacrifice for sin, fulfilling the sacrificial system of the Old Testament. Hebrews chapter 9 verse 11-14. The Apostle Paul emphasized spiritual sacrifices of praise and worship offered by believers in Jesus Christ. Romans chapter 12 verse 1-2. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 15-16. For believers today, Exodus chapter 20 verse 24 teaches principles of worship and obedience to God. While we no longer offer animal sacrifices, this verse challenges us to worship God sincerely and obediently in spirit and truth. John chapter 4 verse 23-24. It encourages us to present ourselves as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God, through acts of worship, service, and obedience. It reminds us that God promises to bless those who honor Him with heartfelt worship and obedience in every aspect of their lives. God bless you and give you grace after grace.